There's this band out in Philly, Sewer Sluts, and they're just so pissed off. That's what I was listening to on the drive over here. I'm Davin Waite. We're at Wrench and Rodent Seabasstropub in Oceanside. And today, the star of the show is this lingcod. I'm just the spare human. These guys live from the tip of Baja to the Gulf of Alaska, and they're out there in the depths lurking. Delicious fish that doesn't get used too much. We're gonna do a little breakdown for you today. So the first thing I go for is the cheeks. You can kind of feel it. Every fish has a bit of a different shaped cheek. Usually they're kind of triangle. There's a nice little pocket that, and don't be scared to use your fingers. You're just gonna kind of follow this little bone pocket. Come up right behind the eye. Get these out. That right there is a nice usable piece of meat that one of the most delicious cuts on the fish. This fish is still in rigor mortis, so he's a bit of a struggle, which is actually a good thing. We're pulling the gills off, just separating that membrane. Gills are connected up at the top and right underneath the fish's chin. I want to be real careful to take the guts out, not slice too far into the belly, which is a very, very thin little piece of meat, just because we want to keep those guts intact. Because when the fish is this fresh, you can use them. Got a little bit of cartilage just to pop through right here, through to the chin. There's that little cartilage right there. You see, I always like to check what's inside before we even go for the fillet. We have the liver right here, which we're gonna be using on our dish. When you're getting the liver out, don't pop this little green sac. That's the gallbladder. So if you pop that, you gotta cut out and throw away everything it touches because it's a real bitter taste. Here's the heart. If you're ever lucky enough to get a whole bunch of these, you can do fish heart yakitori. And I've even seen stomachs cleaned out and cut into almost like a little calamari ring. So what we're gonna do here, just gonna separate, gently pull these membranes. Separate this out of the back. And where our gills connect up at the top. They can be sharp, so definitely don't want to blindly shove your hands in the gills. And on a lingcod, the gills are definitely sharp. So taking the extra time to do this in a way that the guts stay intact is going to give us a lot more fun stuff to play with at the end of this. Now we're just going to take the head off. There's no way to do this without being a little barbaric. Flip and come down from the other side. Go. And these collars are awesome. With these big fins, when you cook them, even the area down in here is like this gooey cartilage that you can kind of like suck on. So you can either keep them attached and serve them as part of the collar, or you can even nip them off and toast them. I've even seen toasted fish fins dipped in sake. There's the first collar. Second one, we're just coming in under this little fin. You can feel back here, it's kind of like on a human, it would be a rotator cuff. You want to get in and under that, just get it cleanly off. There's your other collar. And now we're ready for business. We're just gonna come over the fin, break the skin so that we can get the knife in. Hear that noise? That's a good noise. The coolest thing someone ever told me about cutting fish is just that the bones tell you where to go. And they really do. That off. So we want to get these ribs off. But with the ribs, we kind of serve them as a separate dish. So that does two things. Gives you a little bit of a margin for error, because if there's any meat on there, it's still going to be enjoyed. And they're just plain delicious. I always like to break those ribs, kind of cutting in an upward motion, because it's the minimum damage to the meat. And we're just kind of peeling that membrane off. Down through the skin. Got ribs and belly on that side. Here we have our fillet. The shoulder side, belly side. Belly side, usually we prioritize sushi, and shoulder side we typically do for cooking more. And the coolest thing about fish is if you can get the first side, then the second side is just the same thing but backwards. So the rad thing is on this side, it's nice and flat. We're not fighting that rigor mortis. And this is just perfect for stock. I love making stocks and glazes out of the bones and putting it back on its own meat, so you're kind of flavoring it with itself. Same thing, you can see right here the way the bones kind of come together like this. So if you were to cut down, you're pushing it, kind of putting unnecessary stress on the meat. So as unnatural as it is, just taking the time to pop through the bones this way. Then it opens it up for you just to slide right down and get that off. So then we got bones down here that you can either pull out with tweezers or cut around. Lingcod and black cod bones are some of the harder ones to pluck out. And when the fish is super fresh, you still have that meat is holding onto those bones tighter than ever. So one way we work around that kind of like a fish flavored cinnamon roll. But this cooks up really nice. And it's nice, throwing bones away is always kind of a hard one because cooking, just like meat, cooking that fish with the bones there, you get all that flavor bleeding into the meat. These will be the last course of our omakase. We got the head here, which is awesome to whole roast or beautiful for stock. Collars, they don't need an explanation anymore. Cheeks, tasty little nuggets. These are the ribs. And kind of nip them at the two or three ribs and eat it just like any other rib. This is the bones that we cut out that we'll bake or pan fry. Fishy cinnamon rolls. Bones for stock or chips. Toasted fins are delicious. Here's the liver. Lingcod livers are always delicious. Black cod livers are delicious. Belly. It's the other side of the fish. Still intact. Little steaks. Some people do yoga. I slice flesh.